knows you're not selling anything.
The Fed's not done, and I'm going to tell you why.
Welcome back to Sean's Show, everyone. We are on episode 55. Thank you so much. I am very sorry that I'm late this week. I am on the road in Canada with Sammy Obey doing some very fun shows across the beautiful fake country of Canada. It is a fake country. I'm sitting in a Mazda looking at a Tim Hortons right now in a fucking shopping center with a Home Depot. It's America. Canada really, I've been here and it really is diet America. Even the national parks are like diet national parks. We drove through Banff. I know what the fuck that was. I guess they have nature in Canada, and that's like, here's how you know Canada's a dumb country. Is that when you complain about Canada, people are like, yeah, but it looks beautiful. And they say the same shit about LA. Whenever you complain about LA, people are like, yeah, but isn't it gorgeous out? Yeah, but there's people doing fentanyl everywhere. Yeah, it is gorgeous out. I'm glad that I can clearly see the fat slobs of Canada walk around just like they do in America. Except you know what they don't have in Canada? I can't talk my shit in Canada. I mean, the government sponsors the comedy festivals here. It's a very weird place. I'm getting caffeinated. But no, my deepest apologies for being late, guys. I just been on the road. You know, it's just so don't ever say I didn't hustle for you guys, because I'm at a fucking Starbucks at 8 in the morning recording this. But there's just so much to cover, and I want to get you guys an episode. But again, I'm sorry I'm late. But thank you for listening, as always. If you're an old listener, thank you. If you're a new listener, then I would turn this off, because it's really not going to make a whole lot of sense to you. This is really less of a show about me covering like political and tech news in a funny way, and it's more about an unraveling of my mental health. A lot of podcasts are not podcasts what they say they're about. It's more of like a reality show of an unraveling of the individual. Can you tell it's been a tough week? It's been tough, dude. But Kamala is the nominee. I don't know if you watched that. She gave her acceptance speech yesterday at the DNC as the official nominee that we all voted for. We all voted for her. I voted for her. You voted for her. They held a very fair primary. They held a very fair, capital V, capital F, primary election after Joe Biden stepped away. And we all banded together and said, let's be adults and let's vote for Kamala Harris. And she so nobly and gracefully accepted her nomination from us, the people. And who are the people I'm talking about? The superdelegates of the DNC. I still don't know what a superdelegate is. Does anyone know? Can anyone tell me what a superdelegate is? Like, I don't know. Or a delegate? Are these people politicians? Like, what are they? Are they like, I don't know. And they get to vote or nominate Kamala. I read somewhere, some fake news website that's probably wrong, but apparently there was no written process in place to determine democratically how the replacement of a candidate is supposed to be selected should the initial candidate, in this case Joe Biden, step away from the re-election campaign. They literally had no formal process for that. They are so absolutely fucking stupid. And maybe it's intentional. We were saying maybe they didn't want to write down a process so that they could pull some bullshit like this. But it's wild. I mean, it's, I've been off, if you listen to me, I hope you realize that like I am a both sides are bad kind of guy. I like being a both sides are bad kind of guy. And yeah, you could a lot of people will probably come at me being like, well, you're a white male. Well, of course, you have the privilege of saying both sides are bad. You're a white male. You never have to get an abortion. Hey, dude, I've got a girlfriend, and if she gets pregnant, I'm going to be in just as bad of a situation as, well, no, if she gets pregnant, I'll be very happy. All right, we'll move on. We're going to move on. But my point is, like, you know what I mean? It's like both, when it's, you know who's worse than the insufferable centrists like myself that say both sides are bad? The only people worse than those people are the people that are like, oh, you're a centrist? You're a centrist. That's real edgy of you. Hey, suck my fucking dick. Yeah, I'm a centrist. And yeah, both sides are bad. And if you can't see that, you're living in your own reality. You've created a reality for yourself where politicians care about you. And that is so absolutely fucking deranged. You're a deranged individual if you think that anyone who is a politician has your interests in mind. And that includes Kamala Harris. That includes politicians that feature Lil Jon at the DNC. Hey, just because the DNC has Lil Jon doesn't mean that they support you. Right? Is that crazy? Can I say that? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 2 of the DNC. My name is Senator Bishop from Illinois or whatever fucking state. Are you guys ready for your next act? It's like a comedy show. It really is. It's more theatrical and entertaining, dare I say, than a stand-up comedy show. It really is, guys. Like they're literally like doing the roll call of, also, can we skip the roll call? Like, we all know who's there. They have to do a roll call. Well, because they need to do a roll call, because if they didn't do a roll call at the DNC, then they wouldn't be able to introduce Lil Jon. I mean, literally imagine you're a diabetic old woman in America, and you're undecided, and you live in Ohio, right? And your son comes by every week to help you, but money's tight, you know. You had a corporate pension that got bought out by a private equity firm and ran it into the ground. And you're waiting on a class action lawsuit from that. But that could be years, and you can barely afford your medication. Maybe your legs don't work too well. And your son comes by to help you out a couple times a week, but you're really looking for someone in office that can help you. You're an old diabetic lady in Ohio who's undecided, and you turn on the TV and you see DNC, Day 2, Democratic National Convention. And when you turn on the TV, you see Lil Jon screaming into the mic, shots, 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 everybody! And Kamala's just cackling and clapping her hands. Shots, 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 shots. And I mean, I think that's when you would put a bullet in your head. I think that's when that grandma would put a fucking shot in her head. That's what Lil Jon was really calling for, is a mass suicide. That Lil Jon song at the DNC was a mass suicide event. We should look at it like that, because that's what the fuck it was. Yeah, dude, I'm still digesting this shit. So anyway, going back to her acceptance speech. I want to cover a couple points on her acceptance speech. I mean, it literally sounds like she's doing spoken word. Am I like go watch it. Like, it sounds like Kamala Harris is doing spoken word when she talks. You know, not even like bad spoken word, like really bad, like trust fund kid spoken word poetry. You know what I'm talking about, guys. I'm talking about spoken word where it's like my dad is from America and my mom is from Indonesia. So I am a blended mosaic of stars and stripes. And her dad like works at fucking Chevron. It's like in the court, like accounting. Like her dad does accounting for Chevron. It's like that. That's like Kamala's energy. You know what I mean? It's like, my dad I'm American. My blood is American, and my skin is Indonesian, and my spirit is a tiger. Like that's how Kamala talks about like serious political issues. She's like, healthcare is a starry is a constellation. Healthcare is a constellation. And your freedom is a liger on the main, a liger on a grassy knoll in Namibia. Roaring. It's like, Kamala, people are dying, bitch. Shut the fuck up. And then, and she talks about Israel, and she goes, it was a pretty, go watch it. It was entertaining. She tries to, hey, if you guys are making fun of me for being a both sides are bad kind of guy, you know what's worse than that? A both sides are good kind of bitch. And that's what Kamala is. I'm sorry. She goes, Israel has a right to defend itself. And what happened on October 7th was horrific. And the next words out of her mouth were, Palestinians have suffered a great deal, and they have a right to freedom and self-determination. All right, bitch, well, you can't have it both ways. You're going to make no one happy if you say that. And that's exactly what she does. And that's exactly who Kamala is. And somehow people forgot that. Kamala is trying, and that's what the Democrats have to do. In a lot of ways, that's what she has to do. She has to play to both sides. She has to play to so many different groups because she has to win the election. And it's just crazy. It's like she goes, Israel has a right to defend itself, and the United States will always stand by Israel if and when they decide to bomb a 51st and 52nd school in Gaza. The United States will always have Israel's back when they want to bomb a school. And that is my promise. And everyone's like going, ah, like the audience is just screaming. They're like, ah. And if Israel wants to bomb a school, ah. And Lil Jon's like, shots. It's crazy. But fuck it all. We'll move on. I don't want to talk about politics for too long. But that was just on my mind. I definitely think you guys should go check it out. What's out? What else is going on? Let's move on, guys. I'm sorry. I've just been so busy on the road. I want to keep us all up to date on shit. So there was this is more of a lifestyle story that I think is very fun that we should talk about. So I guess there was a yacht in Italy off the coast, Sicily, that sunk and killed 5 elite kind of billionaire type people. And this is obviously very sad because I love billionaires. And I'm very ashamed. Not ashamed, I'm very kind of frozen and kind of, it's hard to process. Whenever a billionaire dies, a little dandelion in a field also dies. A little dandelion, just trying to make it, just trying to get sunlight, just trying. In a way, we are all dandelions. This is me doing a Kamala Harris speech. We are all dandelions. We are all dandelions. You and you and you. I'm a coconut tree, but you are all dandelions. She's so high. All right, I'm sorry. That was a tangent, but I do want to read this story because basically there's a yacht that sank and there may be foul play involved, and I like this shit, so we're gonna talk about it. But here is the headline: Body of final person missing from sunken super yacht found off Sicily. So let's take a look. Divers on Friday found the body of the final person missing after a luxury yacht sank off the coast of northern Sicily. It's very sad. The body has not been formally identified. 18-year-old Hannah Lynch, daughter of British tech entrepreneur Mike Lynch, is the last person still unaccounted for out of 6 people that went missing after the super yacht Bayesian suddenly sank during a violent storm in the early hours of Monday morning. So, one of the guys that was on this yacht, interestingly, Mike Lynch, started a software company, and I'm a Silicon Valley guy, so this is just more of for me than for you. But he was the founder of a software company called Autonomy, which he sold to Hewlett Packard for $11.7 billion. And as a ex-investment banker, I'm very interested in mergers and acquisitions, especially when it involves dead yacht billionaires. I love a good merger that ends with a dead yacht, with a dead billionaire on a yacht. That's like my favorite type of M&A. It really is. It's my favorite type of merger is when the buyer acquires the target company, and they work out all the intricacies of the deal and how the payouts are going to work and how the shares are going to be transferred. And then some years later, that man and his daughter drown on a yacht. That is my favorite outcome. People often talk about outcomes in mergers and acquisitions. When I worked in investment banking, many times our clients would be like, what kind of outcome should we be expecting here? And I would go, the outcome you should be hoping for is for this to go through, and that you soon after. They'd be like, what outcome are we hoping for? And I'm like, well, I don't know about what outcome you're hoping for. I'm hoping that this merger goes through and you buy a small yacht and drown off the coast of Sicily 20 years from now. That's what I'm hoping for. But this guy, Mike Lynch, sold his business to Hewlett Packard for $11 billion. And then a year later, Hewlett Packard basically wrote it off as worthless. And there was a legal battle that ensued shortly thereafter. And that's why I think maybe this yacht maybe there's some foul play here. And I know there was a big storm, but I think maybe there was some foul play involved. Because maybe some guys at Hewlett Packard were like, hey, we're a little mad that we paid $11 billion for your company that's worth nothing. So maybe we'll go sink your yacht and kill your daughter. I don't know. But it's like, it's just, I want people to understand like how easy it is to be a software billionaire. Like that, you know the reason why software is so bad right now is that software entrepreneurship attracts the worst type of psychos. It does. Software entrepreneurship, because it's the new get rich quick scheme. It's like I want us to wake up here. I want us to realize that we should look at software entrepreneurs just like we look. Sorry for the background noise. I'm eating a lemon loaf because I'm a fucking asshole. Excuse me, that was very rude. I shouldn't have even taken a bite there. But I'm too lazy to edit shit out of the show. Give me 1 sec, guys. I gotta eat this fucking lemon loaf. I'm really sorry. Hope you're having a good morning. All right. So, as I was saying, we need to treat software entrepreneurs just like we treated oil barons in their heyday. That's the type of mentality that we need to have, but people forget. People just forget, and history repeats itself. Software entrepreneurs do just as much fucking damage as oil barons. Literally, they're the guy from There Will Be Blood. We need to look at software engineers like we look at that guy who went across America with his son, with his baby boy that he abandoned. I abandoned my boy. We need to look at software entrepreneurs in the same way, because you know how they say data is the new oil? Oh, this is why you listen to the show, guys. Let me fucking cook right now. You know how they say data is the new oil? What does that make the software entrepreneurs that use that data? It makes them the new oil barons. That's what the fuck it makes them. But we don't look at them like that. We look at them as cool, and interesting. They are just as ruthless. They are just as apathetic, and they are just as psychotic as an oil baron was. I mean, and so that's why I'm sorry. I don't have any sympathy when billionaires die on yachts. I don't. I feel bad for his daughter because she just turned 18, and that would have been all right, guys. It's a fucking comedy show. No, I obviously I don't want anyone to die. I don't want violence. I don't want death. Any death is a tragedy. No, I'm not going to walk it back. I'm glad he's dead. I don't give a fuck. It's like, if you sell your software company for $11 billion and it's worth nothing, I hope HP, I would do the same thing if I was at HP, at Hewlett-Packard. I would go, also, I didn't even know Hewlett-Packard was still a fucking company. How are they even still around? I would be sinking your yacht the next day, bro. If I bought your company and found out you lied to me, I'd be sinking your yacht the next goddamn day. That's what the fuck I'd be doing. That was just a lifestyle piece, but let's move on. So on the economy, let's go back to the Fed. So the Fed is making some headway here with rate cuts. I guess the economy, I mean, I don't even know what the Federal Reserve, they've really lost the plot. Maybe they never really had it, but how long can we keep interest rates at at artificially low rates before you just manufacture an economic depression? I'm honestly glad the Fed, and if you don't know anything about what interest rates are, or what the Federal Reserve is, again, please just hit that little X on your computer if you're watching, or if you're on a phone. Go ahead and you can just close the app, because I don't want you as a listener, if you don't know what the Federal Reserve is, because this podcast is exclusively for people who know what the Federal Reserve is, to listen to a guy who doesn't actually know what the Federal Reserve is. I guess they cut rates. I guess they do economic policy. I don't know. I don't know anymore. But there's been a big update. So from our friend Jerome, he says the time has come for policy to adjust. He sounds like a king. Bro, you sound like a king. You sound like a mad king. He goes, the time has come for policy to adjust. Slam. And he slams his fucking his rod, or his fucking ancient golden staff. He goes, he literally sounds like a king. The time has come for policy to adjust. Da, 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 da. The direction of travel is clear, and the timing and pace of the rate cuts will depend on incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. I don't know what the fuck that means. What risks? Kamala overdosing on Wellbutrin? What kind of risks are we talking about, Jerome? Tell me. So basically, in a nutshell, the actual story here is that the Fed thinks that the economy is doing better. They think that inflation has gone down significantly. And that now that all of that's happening, now we can cut rates again, so we can artificially stimulate the economy and make Wall Street bankers even richer. Basically, what he's saying is, the economy, we're back on track, everything's good, now we're gonna do cocaine. That is literally what's going on here, guys. You don't need to know much about the economy to understand that that this is what's going on. Jerome Powell's coming out at Jackson Hole. I've never been. I very much like to go to a Jackson Hole for a Federal Reserve meeting, just to see what it's like. I think it'd be very exciting, with all the reporters and the Wall Street bankers cheating on their wives every year at Jackson Hole, every quarter. But literally what Jerome Powell is saying is the economy is finally being normalized after we fucked it up with quantitative easing and interest rate cuts and hikes and we've been fucking around with the economy a lot, but we finally left it alone long enough for it to normalize. And now it looks good enough so that we can cut rates again, which is pretty much injecting heroin into the economy. Not heroin, it's like injecting meth into the economy. How about you leave it the fuck alone? Can't you just leave it the fuck alone? No, you have to cut rates, because if you don't cut rates, then every investor will realize that they already know that the economy is full of shit. So you have to cut rates because our economy is addicted to artificially low rates, which allow for cheap money to fund our economy with loans. I mean, it's very scary. It's a very scary time. I'm sorry, guys. I'm eating more lemon loaf. I'm having a morning, to be honest with you. I hope you're having a good morning. So here's more from this article. Markets are expecting the Fed to start cutting in September, though Powell made no mention of when he thinks policy easing will begin. That's great. So he says now is the time to act. And then he says, I don't know, maybe not. Minutes from the July meeting released Wednesday noted that a vast majority of officials believe a September cut will be appropriate so long as there are no data surprises. I mean, it's like, I want to zoom out because I know this stuff is very like, I just use the word zoom out unironically, and I'm sorry. I will cut myself later tonight for that. I'll cut myself tonight thinking of the fact that I just used the word zoom out on my show, Sean's show. But the bigger picture here is that no one pays attention to the economy until it starts crashing, and then everyone pretends that that they've been paying attention to rate cuts and rate hikes. No one knows what a rate cut is. I don't even know what a rate cut is. Transitory, quantitative easing. These are all words that I see a lot in the news and I don't know what they mean. I really don't. Price stability. FOMC. This is the experience of someone average, like the experience of an average person trying to learn about the economy is this. They go to CNBC.com or Bloomberg.com. Well, if you go to Bloomberg, you're going to say, hey, the subscription's $400 a year. Go fuck. It's basically, if you go to Bloomberg.com is like, hey, you're kind of, if you're poor, like we don't even want you to know this stuff. Like that's really what Bloomberg, if you go to like Wall Street Journal is the same thing. You go to Wall Street Journal, you go to Bloomberg, you're like, maybe I'll get more into business and like get a good understanding of our economy and our politics. And they're just like, hey, you're poor, right? Like, yeah, like go back to TMZ.com, retard. Have you ever noticed that TMZ is free? I'm going to do spoken word too. Like Kamala. Wall Street Journal is $393 a year, but TMZ is free. Why is that? Okay, maybe I'm just doing black scent. I'm really sorry. I'm trying to do spoken word. I'm not trying to do black scent, guys. I'm trying to do spoken word. I go on the internet. What do I see? TMZ is free. Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, they cost $393. Think about that. I gotta pee. No, but it's just so incomprehensible for the average person, and that's why they get away with this bullshit. The economics, the Fed, it's become even a meme at this point where it's like if you have a guy, if you're on a date with a guy and he starts talking about the Federal Reserve, it's a red flag. Hey, bitch. Hey, I want to address this. This is why I do this show. There's like a meme these days where if you are a woman on a date with a guy and the guy starts talking about the economy and the Federal Reserve and quantitative easing, it's a red flag. Hey, if you want to treat that as a red flag, you can do what you want. I'm happy for you. live your life, honey. Live your life, girl. But then when the economy crashes and you lose your job, and then you start talking about the Federal Reserve and quantitative easing, I want you to go find that man, and I want you to give him the best blowjob you ever given any man. Because that's what he fucking deserves. Okay? That's what he deserves. Don't pull a 180. Either you like the Federal Reserve, you like talking about the Fed, and you like talking about this stuff because it's important. I happen to think it's important. I happen to think our economy in America, I'm not even in America, I'm in fucking Canada, losing my mind. But I happen to think our economy is important and worth a discussion on a date. I'm in a happy monogamous relationship. But I love talking about it. And if that gives you the ick as a woman, no women listen to this. But if that gives you the ick as a woman, fine. But when you get fired from your job as HR manager at Squarespace or Stake.com, which Sean's show is now sponsored by Stake.com, the top betting platform for all gambling addicts worldwide. Why is every comedian in the pockets of the alcohol and gambling industry? It is so sick. I'm sorry. I have to address this. I won't name names because I'm a pussy. But go online. Every big comic says we are now happily sponsored by Stake.com. Hey you comedy podcast listener. Yeah, you. Me? Yeah, you. Do you like to gamble? Oh, well, I'm in recovery. Like I've been working on myself and like I had a horrible gambling problem. Fuck that. Go to Stake.com. STAKE.com. Type in code Sean Show today for 100% off your first bet. How does that sound? And that's why the show will never be sponsored, guys. I know I've joked around either way, but like I know I'm ironic a lot, but I'm 100% serious right now. That this show will never be sponsored because it will never be big enough to be sponsored. If it was big enough, you bet your ass I'd take a fucking sponsorship. But I'm not going to take it from a goddamn gambling website. Have some fucking, I don't know, dude. It's like, I don't know, whatever. People can do what the fuck they want. I used to get mad about stuff, and I'm just like, I guess people are going to do what they're going to do. And I'm kind of zen about a lot of stuff. But my point was, either you like talking about the Federal Reserve, and you know, if conversations about the economy bore you, you can't all of a sudden be interested in the economy when you lose your job at when you lose your fake remote job at Squarespace. You can't all of a sudden be reading about quantitative easing and cheap money and the fucking yen carry trade, which I don't even know what that is. That was something in the news. Yen carry trade. I do know what it is. But you can't all of a sudden be interested in this stuff only when it starts to affect you. It looks bad. It's not very demure. It's not mindful. It's not very cutesy. This show is for everyone, guys. That was one for the bitches. If you are not, look that up. Just look up very demure. It's a fun little. I assume I assume everyone that listens to this has no idea what that means, but just look it up. Very demure. It's kind of a fun new meme. It's the new Brat Summer. I'm so I really do have TikTok brain rot. I'm on the internet too much. I really am. I'm having a Brat Summer. I'm very demure. I'm very mindful. The Federal Reserve might cut rates in September. That's not very demure. It's not very mindful. You know, it's just an excuse to not have a punchline. That's really what these like bullshit trends are. Brat Summer, very demure. It's like it's an excuse to not have an actual punchline. That's what the fuck it is. Let's see what else is going on. We got politics. We got the economy. I'm feeling better. Honestly, this show is more just for me to feel cathartic about my own life. Okay. Kamala goes, the Palestinians have suffered. I'm going back to it. I just saw this article. Kamala goes, the Palestinians have suffered. And look at this headline. The very next day, Israel's evacuations orders have displaced 90% of Gaza residents. 90%. And she's the current sitting vice president. So like anyone, and again, I'm fixating on the DNC, but like everyone needs to remember that politicians don't fucking care about you. They don't. If you happen to be sympathetic to the Palestine, I don't give a fuck where you stand on Israel-Palestine. But just the delusion, it's a delusion to think that any politician has your interest in mind. Just remember that. I mean, it's just really insane to fucking see people get behind Kamala. And Trump too. I mean, you know something that's like really crazy is like, I thought we all hated Kamala. I really thought we all hated her, and now all of a sudden she's like a joyful warrior with Tim Walz. And again, I hate Trump too. I hate both sides. And it's like, but this like, Trump is really getting fucked right now, and it's just a very weird. I don't know. Is anyone else even noticing this? It's just like, it's where, like, to me, Trump supporters are more vocal than anyone. You know? To me, Trump supporters have always been vocal, and they've always been very peaceful, especially on January 6th. They were very peaceful, they were very vocal, and all they wanted to do was peacefully stop the steal, which is, again, something that got out of hand. We had a few feds, Kamala hired a few feds to be antagonizers. They've always been very peaceful, very, they're crazy. They're crazy. They're psychotic. I mean, I'm basically in the Trump country version of Canada, the Canadian version of Trump country right now. I'm looking at a Tim Hortons. I'm in a fucking mountain range. It is gorgeous in Canada, by the way. I don't know, maybe I have some Canadian listeners. Let me know if you're in Canada listening to this. I think I have a few. And I'm sorry you live in such a shithole. But like, my point is this. Am I just in the wrong internet circles where I don't see it? Because I feel like I haven't heard any noise from Trump supporters lately. You know? And like, for the last 8 to 10 years, all they've done is rally around Trump. They didn't get shot at, right? And everyone said, oh my God, this is going to be huge for Trump. Basically, when he got shot and he lived, people were like, oh my God, he just won the election. And now, cut to around a month later, we're barely hearing from him. I may just be in a fucking internet silo where I don't see all of the memes about the left on the internet, but like, I'm on Twitter, which is pretty right leaning now, and like, a lot of people yell about Trump on X, Twitter, but like, he's behind in the polls. It seems like he's behind in the polls. It just seems odd. That's all I'm saying. Is it seems odd that Trump is kind of stowing away and just kind of like, twiddling his thumbs. It kind of feels like that. I could be wrong, but it's like, either way, I don't care either way, but Kamala is making so much noise. I got to give it to her. She's making a lot of noise, and she's being very, very effective in the media right now. And so maybe this is all part of Trump's plan. I really don't know. But the election's coming up. So, I mean, it's getting down to the wire, guys. It's pretty much do or die. So we'll see. Oh, there was one more moment I forgot about the DNC that I saw. I don't know who's ghost writing these jokes. Whoever's ghost writing the joke one-liners for the DNC should be sent to Gitmo. Whoever is writing the one-liners for the politicians to say at the DNC should be sent to Gitmo and be tortured until death, because it's absolutely embarrassing. And also put the politicians in Gitmo while you're at it, because they can't even deliver the jokes well. Did you guys see? This is a clip you may have seen. Elizabeth Warren did she was doing a joke. I think Elizabeth Warren's she's like a cute old grandma at this point. She used to be I used to hate her because she had some really retarded economic policy and the way she wanted to regulate businesses. But now she's kind of getting really old and decrepit. So when she goes up there, you know what she says? She goes, "I don't trust Trump and J.D. Vance to run a country. I would never trust them to run a country. Hell, I wouldn't even trust J.D. Vance to move my couch." And it crushed. The superdelegates loved that one. Also, we got to remember at these rallies, the RNC, the DNC, it's superdelegates. You know what our problem is? This is the episode title. Kill the superdelegates. I don't even know if I can say that. Kill the superdelegates. Kill them all. Because they're honestly, no. You know what? Let's not kill the superdelegates. Let's not kill them. Put them in office. Give them more power. Because politicians at least have to pander and lie and pretend they're good people. The superdelegates are the people that are in the shadows, pulling the strings behind the politicians, dictating and curating the choices, curating who we're even allowed to vote for. The superdelegates, also known as the I'm joking. These are jokes. These are jokes, guys. I'm Jewish. I can say that. I don't know, man. Maybe we should all look up what a superdelegate is. Does it even fucking matter? Does it even matter? How much, and also we just think about our own lives. How much politics can you consume before it actually just affects your personal life in negative ways? The moment I started getting really into politics is the moment my life went downhill. So maybe this is all just poison and we should just enjoy Tim Hortons. I'm sitting here yelling in my car into a phone. I'm literally yelling into my car. It's a rental car. I'm yelling into my phone in a rental car, looking at a Tim Hortons in the middle of nowhere in one of the worst countries, one of the least civilized countries in the whole world. What has my life become where I'm yelling into a phone about Elizabeth Warren, who might as well be a ghost to me. I'll never meet her. I'll never associate with her. She might as well not exist to me. But I care so much about this woman and all these people that it's a reality show. It's a reality show that has consequences. That's what politics is. It's a reality show that may, help. It's a reality show, and if the reality show goes in a certain direction, you may have to drive to Colorado with your girlfriend at some point to do something, to do a little something. You know what I mean? Also, honestly, I'm getting a little crazy. Can I say this? If you're a single issue voter, I love how I was like, politics suck, let's move on. And I go, I guess it sucks you back in. If you're a single issue voter and your single issue is abortion and you're pro-choice, and you are scared of a national abortion ban. Let's remember that, again, if it's Kamala, you're fine. If it's Trump, it's going to be left back to the states. And what's wrong with a little road trip? What's wrong with a little road trip to Colorado? Like, you're going to hinge your vote. You're going to vote for Kamala because you're scared of a road trip to Colorado. You know? Like, you're going to, like, and I'm not even talking about Kamala versus Trump. Sorry, this is a very political episode, guys. I'm really sorry. I usually don't get this political. I don't know what it is. I just have a lot of anxiety right now. But if you are a woman and you want to protect your rights to an abortion, and you're considering Kamala, but you also happen to care about other issues, but you also don't like a lot of stuff about Kamala and her campaign, whether it be Israel-Palestine, whether it be healthcare, who knows what you care about, and no one cares what you care about. But you're gonna vote. You are being. I want to, like, you know, men and women in a lot of ways. You are being, a lot of people, good, smart, retarded Americans that love donuts and going to Home Depot and looking at lamps. A lot of good Americans that just want to go to Home Depot and turn on lamps and turn them off and then go smoke weed in the alleyway behind Home Depot. A lot of good, smart, well-intended Americans are being blackmailed and being threatened to vote for Kamala as opposed to voting third party. Because they're basically saying, well, oh, you're going to vote third party. You know, a vote for third party is a vote for Trump. It's like, no. They're like, you're going to vote for third party, so you don't care about abortion rights. No, dumbass. In fact, they probably care about that issue more than you. Voting third party means you are willing to throw away your vote to pressure the Democrats, or whatever party that you would have otherwise voted for. Voting third party shows that you're upset with both choices. And it's a check. It's check. Remember checks and balances? Do we even still have those? No one even cares about checks and balances anymore. Especially my girlfriend. I'm always picking up the check and the balances. I love you, baby. She doesn't listen to this. I do pay for everything. Okay. But it's just, you know, I maybe what I'm circling on is just the worst type of person. The worst type of person is white women. It's white women. I'm sorry, it is. It's white women that get the ick when you talk about the Federal Reserve, like it doesn't matter. And then when they get fired, all of a sudden the economy is the most important issue. And those same white women will vote. They're going to go out in droves and vote for Kamala. You know, because they think that that's what's going to help them protect their right to an abortion or whatever, you know. When in reality, they're playing into the trap. It's a trap. It's literally a trap. Remember from Star Wars? That ugly motherfucker? It's a trap. That ugly-ass alien. Everyone in Canada looks like that fucking alien from Star Wars. But let's see here. My phone's almost dead, guys. I'm at 3%. I want to make sure I get to your questions. I think we just have one today from my biggest fan. My biggest fan, Gary. So Gary, thank you very much for asking a question. Gary asks, if you're on the road, does this mean we can have road stories? Absolutely not, Gary. I know in the comments initially I said I'll do it, but I was weak. When you asked me that, I was at a weak point. I'm not giving you any road stories because this podcast is different. On this podcast, we talk about interest rates and we talk about autism and we talk about Kamala Harris and we talk about dead billionaires on yachts. We do not talk about, dude, I was at the Days Inn. I was at an Airbnb. I was sleeping in my car. I was on the road. No one cares. No one cares that you're on the road. I kind of already did a road story. I described where I was. That does not count as a road story, Gary. Gary, that's your road story. I described my current location. That's as much as I'll give you for a road story. Because the moment I start doing road stories, the podcast is over, Gary. I hope you realize that. Like, don't tempt me. Because once I start talking about road stories, I'm going to actually get a fan base of people that want to get invested in my journey as a comedian, which is not what I want with this. I want to rally a group of people that, you know, I can't finish that sentence. The FBI is going to get me. I want to rally a group of people around that want to help save the world and be good and happy and, you know, smoke weed. Jesus Christ. I don't even know what this was. I gotta get back to the Airbnb, guys. We are hitting the road. Speaking of the road, but thank you so much for listening. Don't hit the stop button on the show yet, please, dear God. Please, dear God, don't pause the show yet. Let me get to this shit. This is very important. Follow the show on Spotify. If you do one thing, just follow the show on Spotify. It helps me get bumped up in their algorithm. Follow the show on Apple. Review the show on Spotify. Just do one of these things. Like the show on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. You know, like any of that stuff will really help me, guys, because I know this is a journey. I know it takes a long time to build a podcast. But again, I really appreciate you listening. Go to facebook.com/group/Sean Show. Oh, by the way, a lot of really exciting shit coming. seanreillycomedy.com for all of my headlining dates that are coming up. I'm going to a lot of cities. I'm going to San Diego. I'm going to Nashville. I'm going to Dallas, and so many more cities coming up. I'm going to Columbus. So buy a ticket. Come see me live, man. I'll buy you a drink, dude, for coming out to a show. Would love to hang out with you guys. And some really exciting stuff in the works, guys. I'm gonna switch up the format of the show a little bit. So I'm gonna do basically an hour 10 for free. And I think I'm going to do a Patreon. I think I'm going to do another 20 minutes on the Patreon. So if you're interested in that, let me know what kind of content you guys would want from me on a Patreon. I could do something niche. I was thinking of doing this thing where I actually record myself day trading stocks and putting that on the Patreon. I think that'd be very exciting. I know I talked about comedians that promote gambling, and I'm about to do that, so I'm a hypocrite. But I'm honest. So I think that'd be very fun. You can watch me day trade stocks on a Patreon. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I'm thinking of calling the segment Sean Trades Stocks. So I'm expanding my mind. The show is expanding. Everything's growing. The tumor in my colon is growing that I don't know about yet. It's all growing, guys. My dick is growing for Canada. I'm just so excited to be in this wonderful country for another few days. But that's the show, guys. I hope you have a great week. For the love of God, support the show, dude. Do something, because every time you guys help the show in like little incremental ways, I blow a huge load in my pants. And I have to change my pants. So just know that happens every time you support. But I love you. Have a great week. I don't love you. We're not friends. But thanks for listening, guys. Have a great week. And, stay safe out there. How about this? Maybe think twice before you get on a billionaire's yacht who sold a company for $11 billion that's worth nothing. Think twice about that, okay? Okay. All right, bye.